Good evening, I'm Maggie Vespa, and this is the story. As you can see, we're not starting this show in the studio. We're starting it actually at a future site, officials say, of one of Portland's safe rest villages. This is the Menlo Park and Ride at Northeast 122nd and Burnside. It's actually one of 6 village sites that was supposed to be open by the end of this year. The city made that promise, and in doing so, promised to get hundreds off of Portland streets and into warm, safe housing by midwinter. And that was key because, as we know, winters here can be dangerous, even deadly for the unhoused. And they're getting more extreme every year. Well, tonight we have an update. Portland city officials now confirm they will fail to meet their own self-imposed deadline. These villages will not open by the new year, and the hundreds who would have gotten housing in them will now endure another entire winter sleeping outside. Now they're saying it's going to be early next year.
Of course it is.
Of course it is, says Eddie. He lives in a tent on the site of a future safe rest village, the one along Southwest Nadeau Parkway. He says a lot of people camping here want spots in those tiny homes, and he's not surprised the city delayed their timeline, an update first reported by the Oregonian.
My big question is why? Do you know why?
We wanted to know why too, but Housing Commissioner Dan Ryan wasn't available Wednesday, nor was anyone from his office. They did send us a statement, but before we get to that, let's review the history.
Safe rest villages are fenced, fully staffed 24/7 managed outdoor shelters.
Back in May, city officials announced a big plan to get hundreds off the streets of Portland fast. They wanted to take COVID relief money they'd gotten from the feds, $20 million worth, and use it to open 6 safe rest villages. Each village would house roughly 50 people, so at least 300 people would be helped total. And they'd open by the new year. The task, finding empty pieces of land that were safe, available, and wouldn't cause an uproar among neighbors. That has proved difficult.
They're not talking to anybody. They're just doing it.
So far, the city has ID'd 3 sites. There's the Nadeau Parkway, where we met Eddie, the former Jerome F. Sears Army Reserve Center along Southwest Multnomah Boulevard, and the Menlo Park and Ride at 122nd and Burnside. Each one was a surprise to neighbors, many of whom reached out to us.
They're just dropping it in our laps and saying, deal with it. And it's putting a hardship on everybody.
And while we've also heard from neighbors open to the idea of a village moving in nearby, the city says there's enough pushback to, in part, warrant a delay. In a statement, Commissioner Dan Ryan's office told us, quote, "Our work has been complicated by restrictions to the use of American Rescue Plan Act funds, supply chain issues, and resistance to siting safe rest villages, both from property owners and from community members." They say they're hoping to open the villages early next year, adding they are committed to doing this right. Housing advocates tell KGW they're hopeful things go smoothly from here, adding these villages are just another needed tool in addressing the larger housing crisis.
Safe rest villages are an on-ramp to permanent housing, and we need to focus our energy toward ensuring that we are getting people into that permanent housing.
And you probably know we've been following this for a while. We have so much more on this story at kgw.com. And we will, of course, stay on this and keep you posted as plans for these villages move forward.